Hey guys, it's Dan from Soileater and welcome back to our One Take Wednesday series. Today in episode 28, I'm going to be going over the 3 must-have firearms for any American citizen. All right, so basically what I want you guys to understand is the 3 firearms here with a bonus 4th that I'm going to be going over. You don't need to have these specific firearms, all right? But I'm going to give you a general understanding and general idea and how I think about when choosing 3 firearms. If I was only allowed to have 3 firearms for whatever reason, maybe it's money, right? Maybe it's like that's the magic rule, right? We're only allowed 3 firearms. These are the 3 that I'd recommend. The first is going to be an easily concealed pistol, all right? So if you live in the United States and you can conceal carry, I highly recommend selecting a pistol and selecting a firearm that is going to be easy to conceal and comfortable to conceal, whatever that means for you. And that's going to be dictated based on your body type, and then general like comfortability of the firearm and how you carry it, right? I strongly recommend that every U.S. citizen is going to be physically fit. That's something that I really harp on, and I hope you guys do too, right? Doesn't matter how busy you are, get the time in to eat healthy and then be physically fit, go to the gym, that sort of thing. AKA don't be fat, because we're going to be talking about appendix carry. So the first firearm, if I could only have one pistol, for me personally, it'd be a Glock 43X, the MOS. I would have a red dot on it, not necessary for everybody. Iron sights work perfectly fine. And then I would also have some sort of weapon mounted flashlight. This one right here is a TLR 7 by Streamlight. Now I want you guys to understand, I'm not recommending, hey, you have to go out and buy this firearm. What I am saying though is you want to have a firearm that you're going to carry, all right? You're going to want a firearm that's comfortable, because if it's not comfortable, you're not going to carry it. And then you also want a firearm that you don't feel outgunned with, right? So this Glock 43X, I do carry the Shield R mags for it, so it is 15 rounds plus 1. I have several of them, the original generation, the current generation. I haven't had any issues with any of them. I know there's like rumors or people have had issues with them allegedly, but I have not. And I can only go based on my data. I haven't seen any issues on the range or anything like that. But I personally have not had any issues. And in this small firearm, I'm allowed 15, not allowed, I have 15 plus 1 rounds, all right? So if you're going someplace where you feel like that's not enough, you can carry an extra mag. I carry an extra mag in a tier 1 concealed holster, and it sits right up in the front there. But what I'm saying is you want a firearm that is comfortable enough where you carry it all the time, because the one time you don't carry it is going to be the one time you need it. And then you want a firearm where you don't feel outgunned having, right? So if I needed to deploy this firearm for whatever reason, having 16 rounds with an extra 15 round magazine, you know, in most situations, that's going to be enough. Now, is that going to be enough in every situation? No, but understand that when I put this on, 1, it's comfortable, and 2, I don't feel outgunned, all right? What do I mean by that? And this is going to be your bonus 4th firearm. But right here is a Smith & Wesson 357 J-frame. So this is a 340 PD model, so any 357 can also chamber 38. I believe this still holds the record as being the lightest revolver out there. It's got a titanium cylinder on it, and you'll notice on this side right here, all these firearms were unloaded prior to the video, but you'll notice right there, it's got the clip draw on it. Right now I'm wearing a pair of sweatpants. You can wear gym shorts or board shorts with this thing. Slide it right in there. Doesn't need a holster. I feel very comfortable wearing this due to the trigger pull and how heavy that trigger pull is. Holds 5 rounds here. If I'm going to leave the house in board shorts for whatever reason and flip-flops, and I'm like completely relaxed, not worrying, no care in the world about stuff going down, or maybe I'm going to a wedding, something like that, a party, anything like that, where it's all family, friends, this will be the gun I carry if I don't carry the 43X, all right? But I want you to understand, although this gun is super, super comfortable to carry, you feel like you don't even have it on, I feel outgunned with this, right? So I'm a pretty decent shot with this J-frame revolver, but understand that this has limitations. Number 1 being it only has 5 rounds. So even if you carry one of those little flat placards in your pocket that has another 5 or 6 rounds to it, every time I carry this gun, I feel like, man, I really probably would want a bigger gun if I needed to, all right? So just understand that if you're going to carry it and you don't want to carry anything larger than a little J-frame revolver, I recommend at least carrying the J-frame revolver. But understand that you do feel outgunned with this. So if I could only pick 3 guns, I would go with something a little bigger that I feel a little less outgunned with, all right? So that's number 1. That would be my concealed carry firearm. So list this as number 1. Number 2 is still going to be a pistol, all right? So this pistol right here happens to be my work pistol, but I also have some that are very similar. This right here is a Glock 17 Gen 5 MOS. It's running an Aimpoint Acro P2 on the rear, and then a Streamlight TLR 1HL, so the high lumen model. If you're wondering why I run Streamlights over Surefires, I just like the way that they activate. I know there's some other companies coming out, like Embassy something, that has different modules on the back for activating it. But for right now, it's what I'm familiar with. It's what I'm most comfortable with. I have had issues with Streamlights. Usually it's either the rear back tail cap will snap off over time, or the pressure, the little activation levers here will come off. So that being said, Streamlight's customer service is excellent. They will send you a new product, or at least a new cap and whatnot right away. But just be aware that I have had issues with these personally. But again, I've carried a Streamlight for basically going on almost 11, 12 years now. All right, so why a Glock 17? Again, not the specific model. I want you guys to understand is what I'm talking about here is essentially a full-size pistol or a combat pistol, right? This gun right here holds 17+1, so I definitely don't feel outgunned with this. It's got a longer barrel, a red dot optic on it with the flashlight, but essentially think of this as like the combat pistol. Again, this is my duty pistol, so I go to work every day with this. You know, I've shot this pistol 200 yards on steel, no problem, especially with this red dot. It's kind of scary. But just understand that it doesn't have to be a Glock. It could be, well, I should say SIG, but it might blow up in your hands. Go ahead and, you know, like and subscribe if you had your SIG blow up in your hands. And for all the SIG lovers out there, let me know in the comments. But what I'm looking for is a full-size pistol that you do not feel outgunned with, that is a duty-size pistol. And basically, like, if you only could have one full-size pistol, I would keep this, and this might be sitting next to my nightstand, or, you know, in the safe next to your bed, and kind of be your home defense pistol. You know, if anything crazy happened in society, this would be the pistol I would throw in the holster. And then we'll get into the third pistol here in a minute, or third firearm in a minute. But understand that you're gonna want a full-size pistol. It doesn't have to have an optic on it. That's just kind of what I'm getting used to now. But just know that you want something that carries a decent amount of rounds, has decent size on it, that you're accurate and good at shooting. And just be, you know, just train with them. Like, that's the biggest thing with all of these. I would recommend buying 3 firearms and just getting a bunch of training on it. Stop spending money and buying all these firearms. We got dudes at work who are like, oh, bought another gun. They always tell me about the guns. Because, you know, I like guns just like probably you guys do. But just understand that if you only bought 3 guns and you spent all the rest of your money on ammo and training, right? Going to people and getting training, it's going to be so much better. Like, I'll be honest, I don't like the guys who are just out there collecting guns. Like, I don't care, right? I'd rather you have to replace parts in your guns because you've worn them out because you train a lot. And as far as like going to reputable trainers and stuff, I highly recommend that. It's not that you won't figure it out on your own, because with a certain amount of time and ammo spent, you'll eventually figure the stuff out yourself, right? But what it does is it allows you to take shortcuts and cut down those plateaus when you get to that peak. A good instructor will come down and just get you to that next level. You know, there's plenty of them out there, whether it's competition or kind of more of the combat shooters. I'm not going to get in that debate in this video, but just know that for the most part, you're going to learn something from all of them. So highly recommend 3 firearms and then go out there and spend the rest of the money and time on training. All right, so we've got a concealed carry handgun, we've got a full-size combat handgun, and then we're going to get into the actual gun, and that's going to be an AR-15, right? So M4, AR-15, call it what you want, whatever. It doesn't matter to me, right? All the AR-15 nerds out there are going to be like, that's an M4, or that's a whatever. Like, yeah, I don't care. This right here, right? So this is a 14.5-inch BCM, all right? That's what this is. Does it have to be BCM? No. It could be any reputable brand. Again, I don't care so much as what the brand is. I will say this, though. If I'm only buying 3 firearms, which I would recommend, is buy something that's going to last you and that's going to hold up, right? Like, would you want to go to war with your rifle? And if the answer is no, then don't buy that rifle, okay? So why 14.5-inch? Well, in most states, right, is you have to have a 16-inch barrel unless the muzzle brake is pinned and welded. So the shortest overall you can get is going to be a 14.5 with a pin and welded muzzle brake, and that's what we have here. So I've got the Surefire. This is the 3-prong, right? Yeah, 3-prong. It's been a while. And this will hook up to my Surefire SOCOM Mini suppressor. Now, do you have to have a suppressor? No, okay? But just understand that By having a 14.5 pinned, it equates to that 16-inch, so you're good. And you can travel with this in most states. So there's no issues. You don't have to worry about the ATF and all the stupid paperwork and all the tax stamps and whatnot. It's just considered a rifle, and that's it. All right. Now, when I look for a rifle, like I said, look for a quality rifle, right? I'm not sitting here buying 10 budget rifles and have all these builds. Like, save up your money and responsibly buy one rifle that's gonna last, all right? I'd rather you buy one rifle and buy some extra spare parts for it in case any of the parts wear down or break, all right? Now, what else would I dump my money into after I buy a quality rifle? It's going to be my optic. 100%, it's gonna be my optic, all right? So in here, I've got a Aimpoint Comp M5. The reason I went with the M5 over the T2, which is what I normally run on my rifles, is I wanted something that had a different battery. That was a more common battery. So this one, I think it's a AAA. I'll throw in the comments if it's not. But yeah, a AAA battery in there, and you can get those anywhere. All right, so a quality optic on a quality mount. This is Soileater-Works. This one happens to be the 193 height mount. I just switched over to those within this last year, and I really like it. So a quality mount, quality optic on a quality rifle. The only other thing I would say you need is going to be a quality flashlight. I highly recommend getting a quality flashlight. You'll notice here for the flashlight, this is a Surefire Scout. It's a KE2 DF, so it's a dual fuel. I do usually just run the CR123 batteries in it because I like just being able to replace them if I need them, and I get them from work for the duty rifle at least. But I've got the Surefire Scout on here with a pressure switch. The only thing I'd also recommend, which I don't have on this one yet, is going to be the adapter, which you have a push button backup. All right. So why not Streamlight? Because I have Streamlight on all my handguns. I actually do not like the Streamlight flashlight that they make for rifles. I've seen them fail far too much with the back switch here, as well as the pressure pad. All right. So that's it. What else do I recommend? For me personally, I still run backup iron sights, especially if I don't have any sort of laser system on here, aiming system on there. So these are just the Magpul Backup Pros. I've seen deals on these during the holidays for about 120 bucks for both of them. So for the set, again, doesn't break the bank, but now you have backup iron sights. So obviously with the 193 height, I have to zero the iron sights first. Once the iron sights are dead on, I mount the optic. In the event that I ever needed to remove it, because it's a 193 height, Soileater-Works, I can just twist this off, remove it, and now I have iron sights. All right, and then lastly, again, slings are not very expensive. This one right here is the Firearms Slingster. I just switched over all of my slings to that sling. I really like it, the adjustability of it, the comfort on it, and that's it. So I want to say a basic rifle, but a quality rifle, right? So I have 3 firearms I recommend. It's going to be 1 concealed carry handgun, 1 battle pistol, right, or full-size pistol, and then 1 rifle. All right, you can do a lot of stuff with this. You might be asking yourself, well, why no shotgun? All right, I would say this: if you're a hunter and whatnot, have a shotgun. I'm all for it. I just believe at this point, with the amount of, let's say you only had 10 hours. How do I say? Let's say you had 10 hours a month to train. All right, I would highly recommend you spend that 10 hours training on handgun and rifle, then you spend on handgun, rifle, and shotgun. All right, the usability of a shotgun to get good at it and to get to where I personally believe you would need to get is going to take a lot more training with a shotgun than it is with a rifle and pistol. If you're training any family members, so let's say you're training your significant other, in my case, your mom, in any of these firearms, I would highly recommend that you keep it simple and keep it to a pistol and keep it to a rifle. They're easier to use. The differences between loading a pistol and loading a rifle are very similar, meaning like a shotgun's just bulky, it's heavy, it's got a lot of recoil, and it's a little less wieldy, especially because for the laws, unless you go with like a short barrel shotgun, is going to be, 18 inches, I believe. So with that, that's very cumbersome, especially for a smaller framed individual. I've seen your girlfriend, she's not a small frame, so you're set there. But just understand that if you're gonna spend time training, keep it simple, keep it to a couple platforms, all right? And then lastly, the one thing I wanna cover is go out there and do some competitions, guys. That's another reason for this full-size firearm, this full-size pistol, is this is a carry optic ready pistol, right? So now I can go and do competitions like USPSA and whatnot and keep it challenging, keep it fun. You don't need anything fancy, right? Obviously there's much better shooters out there than me, who win and crush a couple, tons of competitions with just a full-size Glock 17. All right, so that's my take on it. Have a carry one, have a full-size pistol, and then have a rifle. All right, spend your time training on those basically two platforms, the pistol and rifle. Get really good at them. Get so good and shoot so much that you wear out all the parts in your guns and you have to replace them. All right, but buy quality, buy once, and have this stuff on you guys. All right, it's gonna be a froggy year for 2024. So hold on tight and get out there and train. So until next time, take care.